Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Life Couch, and thank you so much for joining me for today's very special interview. Today with me, I've got Adrián Ferrer Migueles, who is a dear friend of mine based in Spain. I met Adrián in 2013, and he came to work for a company I worked at in film as an intern. We kept in touch since, and he shared his unbelievable story with me recently. In fact, he told me a while back that he'd fallen sick, and over the last couple of years, I had been in touch every now and again, but we've really caught up now this time for him to come here and share his inspiring story of survival, story of fighting through for whatever it took to stay alive and to stay positive in life. Adrián, it's great to see you, and thank you so much for taking the time to meet me today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
You obviously have an unbelievable story that I would love you to share. In December 2018, you were feeling unwell, you were feeling very, very tired, and you were living in the Philippines, in fact, but you came back to visit your family in Spain for Christmas, but you were feeling so tired that you went to do some blood tests, and the results came back really negative.
That's completely right. So let's start from the beginning. Because as you said, I was living in the Philippines for 2 years. I tried to develop my career in the international area. So I went there to work in a very big international entertainment studio. So I was like pretty well. Like all my life was really stable. Like I had a good job, like good money, good salary, a new girlfriend. Like I was living in a very unrealistic place. Like it's the Philippines. Like I love traveling, so it was like everything was awesome at that time.
Yeah.
So it's right that at some point, like I started feeling very tired, and I didn't think it was like nothing really serious, because I was working during night shift. So for me it was like, okay, I'm not sleeping at night, so maybe this change of routine and this change of time of eating and having my dinners, my lunches, like it's gonna affecting it's affecting my mood and everything, right? I didn't really pay much attention to all those symptoms. But as you said, I decided to go back to Spain, to my city here in Valencia, and I just tried to do a blood checkup. They called me right away from the hospital, and they told me, Adrian, can you come back to the hospital right away, because there are some results that are not really good. The first thing that the doctor told me was, okay, Adrian, you have blood cancer. You had acute lymphoblastic leukemia,
Mm.
and okay, so you really need to fight, like this time to fight. Like we really need to start the treatment. The cancer, unfortunately, the cancer is really developed in your body. Like if you don't get a treatment, you only have a few weeks left. And you need to start chemo, and maybe in the future, if it's necessary, you are gonna need a bone marrow transplant, or what it's called also a stem cell transplant.
So hold on,
So
they told you if you didn't do any treatment, they told you you had a few weeks to live?
yeah,
Oh,
exactly. So
I
that's
did
one
not
of
know that. That's shocking.
uh, it was like those kind of sentences. Like I thought to myself, okay, this is serious. Like actually this is serious. One of the first, actually, before he told me that, I asked him, but I mean, can I get healed by this? Like, can I get a treatment actually, or there's no options for me? And they told me there are, but I'm not gonna lie. You got one of the worst leukemias you can have, and this kind of is very dangerous. And if you don't get a treatment in a few days, yeah, you really can die in short. Like actually, that time, like just 1 hour after that sentence, they started like bringing blood bags and plaquettes and everything, because I had a very big anemia.
Mm.
For people who doesn't know, like leukemia is basically a blood cancer. It really creates a very abnormal and very not formed white cells that they really invite everything in your body. Like you don't get any space for red cells, for plaquettes. It's basically your blood starts to be white. Actually, leukemia means white blood, actually.
Mm.
So that's the point. Like, of course, and if you don't have the necessary things in your blood to survive and to fight against infections or any kind of viruses or whatever, of course you can die. You can die sooner.
That's incredible. So that, I mean, I can't even you just came home to spend Christmas. Can you imagine what might have happened if you hadn't decided to go for a blood test and you just said, well, it's just because I'm tired, my new routine, it's normal, I'm not eating properly, I'm not sleeping well, so I'll just spend Christmas and then go back to the Philippines. You might not be here today to tell this story, which is
For
unbelievable.
for sure, just imagine, like, of course, like, Philippines is a great country, but of course in terms of of health, like insurances or and health institutions, it's not the best country. Of course, it's a third world country at the end, right?
So when they said to you, if you don't start treatment immediately, there's a chance you're going to die. You have the worst type of leukemia possible. You're going to have to fight with everything you've got to survive this. What did you imagine immediately? What did you have to think to yourself?
So for me, like, when I heard the word cancer, like, it was like that was the time that I was shocked, because at the beginning it was like, okay, leukemia. I've heard of it, but it was the time when I heard the word cancer and treatments and chemo, like, all those words started to hit in my face, right?
Mm,
um so it was like, okay, so the first one of the first it's just curious, but one of the first things that came to my mind was like, okay, how stupid you've been your whole life. Like, you've been too worried about your future, like, um you've been worried about your job, your future, your stability,
mm,
everything, like taking too much attention in the future and not attention in the present. And
mhm.
now they're telling me, maybe I'm not here next month. So one of the first things that I said to myself, like, it was like, what I'm stupid. I've been very stupid. Like, how come I've been so worried about these things when I'm not paying attention to my present, and maybe I don't have a future. So
That's amazing.
that was one of the best things. I can really remember that time, and that was one of the feelings.
So it was like an immediate realization that you'd
Yeah.
actually been living your life wrong up until that moment. So you had to get that huge piece of news to realize that actually you'd been prioritizing the wrong things and not appreciating the real things that needed to be appreciated.
And one of the things also I thought that is because I was surrounded by my mom and my dad at that time. I looked at my mom and my dad, like, and I said, "Oh, my God!" And like, maybe these are gonna be the last moments I can see them. Like, that's the time that my mom broke down. Like, my dad almost faint at that time, almost fainted. Like,
Wow.
he started to get white because it was like, just all in a sudden, like, boom, like, it was very very hard. Like, the
Mm,
doctor the doctor told it like right away. It was no soft words. It was really, like, really hitting. So it was like, yeah, seeing my family and realizing all of the things that I already had, and I wasn't appreciating, right? It was
mm, mm.
at that moment.
Okay. Well, wow, that's I mean, as a father myself, I couldn't imagine what it'd be like to be told that my son is sick and possibly about to die. So yeah, I'm sure it was a unbelievably tough time for you and your
Yeah.
family, and especially having been away from them for a couple of years. That must have
Yes.
been really tough. Um,
Yes. Mhm.
so tell me a little bit more about what the doctor said in terms of treatment. So it had to start immediately, chemotherapy. Um, how intensive was that? What did it look like? And how did it make you, how did it affect you?
So at the beginning, I didn't know exactly. One of the things that I asked at the beginning was, okay, for how long I'm gonna be at the hospital, and how long it's like this crazy ride, how long it's gonna take, right? And they told me, if everything goes well, maybe in less than 1 year, like around from like between 8 and 1 year, 8 months, sorry, and 1 year, you'll be healed if everything goes well. But of course, in the middle there will be hard treatments, consisting basically in hard doses, very 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 hard doses of chemo, like one of the limit chemo doses a body can have. Actually, it's like treating leukemia is a bomb. It's really a bomb, nuclear bomb to your body. Like
Mm.
you can actually die from
From the
getting the
treatment.
treatment. Yeah, actually you can die getting the treatment. So it's gonna consist in probably 3 sessions of chemotherapy. You'll be at the hospital a minimum of 1 month each. So depending on the subtypes, you will be needing a bone marrow transplant or not. uh, Basically, if you're gonna need a bone marrow transplant, means that the illness is actually worse than it is. Like
Okay.
having a bone marrow transplant is one of the last things you can do for surviving leukemia
Mm.
because it's very aggressive. So yeah, so I started the chemos, and to be honest, I didn't really have much secondary side effects at the beginning, but it was like I was very, very, very powerful. Like my mindset was very powerful at the beginning because I think I was still under shock, right?
Okay.
And but while the way was going, like when I was taking place, and everything was going little by little, I started my mindset was from here, like the I started like I'm gonna beat it, I'm gonna fight it, I'm gonna like all my friends, my family were really encouraging and supporting me. Like my mindset was really high. But um the more the treatments were taking place, the lower my mindset was going. It was
Wow.
like I started from here, and then I end up here. Like all the treatments was really, really, really shocking. Like of course, hair loss, vomiting, headaches, fevers, body pain. It was like you cannot eat because you get lots of sores in your throat. You cannot even eat. You cannot even drink. Sometimes you only need to drink or eat through the catheter because you cannot
Wow.
you cannot have anything through your throat because it's very, 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 very hard.
Yeah.
So like the more the treatments were going and were taking place, the lower I was feeling. I remember that. So at the middle of the treatment, they found out that actually my leukemia was worse than they were planning it was gonna be, and
Mm.
they told me that I would need a bone marrow transplant. Fortunately, there was a 100 compatible donor with me.
Hmm.
um, he's a young guy, like 4 or 5 years younger than me, from Germany. It's everything is anonymous. This procedure is very anonymous. You cannot know the name of the donor. You cannot know anything. Only the nationality and the age, and
Right.
if it's man or woman. I know, this guy at that age was like 24 years old guy from Germany, and it was 100% compatible with me, and he saved my life basically.
That's incredible. What are the chances of finding somebody who's 100% compatible?
The chances is 1 between 4,000 people.
Wow.
One, not 4,000 people. One between 1,000 people registered as bone marrow donors, which is
Yeah.
actually less than one between 4,000 people. You know,
That's
you get my
crazy.
point.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So only uh, one by 4,000 donors will be able in the future to make the donation. The more compatible your donor is with you, the better is the survival, because in the future you won't have very, very dangerous side effects, because again, you can die from having a bone marrow transplant if it's not really compatible with you. My blood is from another person now.
Yeah,
I changed actually my blood type. I don't have the same blood type that I used to have before I got sick.
that's
So try
incredible.
to imagine, everything is completely changing. So just there are a few people, they can have side effects, like the new blood attacks the the body. Like
Yeah,
you can get attacked in your eyes, in your liver, in your stomach, even in your hair. you can be attacked by the new blood. Of course, the more
Wow.
compatible you are, the less probabilities for that.
So really, at 100% compatibility, like you were with this German guy, there was very little chance anything would go wrong.
Exactly.
Right.
Still, there are a few. I mean, it's not 100% that you cannot have any chances if it's 100% compatible, but of
Hmm.
course, the chances really, really lower, of course.
Okay, so you're doing your treatment, and as you said, your mindset, your morale is dropping the longer the treatment goes, and that's understandable because it's actually quite dehumanizing, right? You're losing your hair, you're getting sick, you're getting weaker, and at the same time, you're expected to keep fighting, right? Because you don't want to let yourself go because then that's where you lose the battle. So I mean, I can't imagine a bigger setback than the actual treatment making you weaker when in fact the treatment is supposed to make you feel like you're winning. To give you an example, if I have the flu or if I have an infection, I take antibiotics or medication. There's no side effects of those, and I immediately start feeling better, right? And I keep taking it because within a week I'll be fine. But in your
Yeah.
case, the more you take it, the more you're getting beat down. So that's for me, it's like mentally, what do you do?
So for me, it was really a breakdown. Like I'm not gonna tell people that I'm like a super good fighter. I'm not gonna try to tell people that they should be feeling well. They are on their right to feel bad and to feel like a shit, and it's completely normal. Let's just normalize those feelings, because it's not normal to feel good at that time, and you have your rights to cry. You have your right to be very low one day and cry the most you can, and maybe, because maybe that feeling and liberating all that pain will be better for the next day to feel better for you. Like, I'm not gonna tell anyone you have to be on the top of the mountain in terms of your feelings. I'm not gonna
Mm,
say that, because I haven't been like that. I
mm,
had very, very rough days. I had really, really very depressing days, and it's normal and it's fine. It's fine to feel like that. There's this kind of message like capitalism and society tell us that, okay, you are a warrior. You are, I mean, forever strong. Like, these kind of messages that they are hitting on the news and the film, and like, these kind of messages actually are not good, because sometimes I ask myself, I sh- should I am really taking it well. Am I really worth? I mean, am I taking it like as I should, or am I doing it okay? Because all those messages that I heard before are the opposite as I am feeling now. Like,
mm,
I'm not working well with it. Like, and but at the same time, uh, I'm on my right to feel like this. Like, you are seeing your world. It's not stopping. Like, your environment is not stopping. Of course, your family it's taking care of you and your friends, but the life continues for everyone. Like,
of
you
course.
see, everyone is doing her normal life, and you are at home feeling like shit, and not even being able to have a water, because you cannot get water because your throat hurts.
Mm,
You are on your rights to feel like that.
of
And
course.
I would tell them, like, I would tell them, it's fine to be, it's okay not to be okay. That it's I like that sentence, because it's actually correct.
Mm,
And if you normalize that you cannot be on the top of the mountain the whole time, you can also value the days you are better,
hmm.
right?
Of course.
For me, for me, for example, just one example. At one moment of the treatment, I just avoided looking at my phone. I just ignored my phone. For maybe for 3 or 4 months, I didn't look at my phone.
Wow.
I'm not telling that they should do this, but for me it worked. Just imagine one person not looking at their phone for 3 or 4 months at the present. This is crazy, right?
Yeah, you'd miss out on
Not
all your
even.
emails and calls and friends and yeah, of course, yeah.
For me it worked. For me it worked. Like, for me, I was more calm with myself, because I couldn't see what is happening, and the what was happening wasn't affect me,
I
in my
understand.
inner self.
So you
uh
kind of you did you need to create
get out.
yourself your own isolated universe where you didn't have any distractions, and that was
Mhm.
what you were going to do to stay alive.
For me, it was like for me the best things that worked for me was just keep your mind entertained, like reading, playing video games, watching Netflix, movies, talking to your family or friends on Skype, whatever, but try to keep yourself busy. I started realizing that for me, things that I used to do when I was a child, when I was in childhood, they were working for me. Like as I said, playing Pokemon, like those kind of feelings, like they got to my I got back to my childhood in some way. I was still, I was trying to find ways and trying to be more busy with my present, in
Okay.
order to be trying to avoid all the negative thoughts, because of course at the end you are gonna have negative thoughts. You cannot avoid it. So just do whatever you need to do to avoid the many you can avoid. I started realizing, okay, if everything is gonna be fine and I can have a new life and it's gonna be okay at the end, I'm gonna try for examples and for some inspirations.
Hmm.
And that's when I started my search of looking for people who already survived leukemia and
Okay.
survived from a bone marrow transplant. Because when you are very very sick,
Hmm.
it's very difficult to find a way. It's very difficult to see yourself in the future as good as you were before you were sick. Because
Right.
at the end what you like is you want to recover, you want to recover your life, right? you want to
Yes.
you want to get it back.
Yeah.
So there was the time this time when I started looking on Instagram, like through hashtags like leukemia survivor, fighting leukemia, or leukemia, just leukemia, like hashtags, or even in Google, trying for life inspiration stories
Yeah.
for me to get over it. I started looking for these people and looking for answers. Like I had many answers. How, how's gonna be my sex life after beating leukemia? How's gonna be my body? Am I gonna be able to recover my body? Am I gonna be able to work out again? Am I gonna be able to eat raw things? Because you're not able to eating raw things during the treatment. Am I gonna be able to have my pets back? Because you cannot have your pets because it's
Yeah.
dangerous because they can bring infections. Those many questions I had, and I started looking for those answers.
Mm.
It was quite difficult, I must say, because it's not very open. Like this cancer world is not open. It's not very open. There's still this stigma or having cancer. It's not. It's
It's
like
embarrassing almost.
yeah. It's like sometimes people feel embarrassed of having cancer, and it's not even your fault.
Mm.
And it's not like another kind of diseases like you get because maybe you are not quite responsible there with, but it's not like that. Cancer is not, it doesn't depend on you. So uh but there's still this stigma in society.
Mm.
Also, people treat cancer survivors or cancer patients, they are in a lower way. Like it's I've been treated like in a more childish way just for having cancer, and I'm the same person. I'm exactly same as I was before. Like my
Hmm.
capabilities are still the same. I don't want your compassion. I want you to comprehend me. I want your affection, and
Yeah.
I want you to accompany me with in this journey. I want you to support me, but I
Yeah.
don't want to feel your compassion.
I understand.
So it's this kind of, it's very it's as a cancer patient, it's kind of, it's also shocking, talking to people, because you
Mm.
feel you feel you are not in the same, you are not in the same way, as you are not thinking the same way, and it's
It's not
difficult
the
to
same
let them know that
reality, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's that's so tough to have to deal with all that while you're feeling like shit from the treatment. I remember we spoke a few weeks ago and you gave me some very shocking statistics for relapses. which we can run through in a sec. So, but I just want to go back to, so you did the bone marrow transplant, and that was obviously a source of hope for you. And obviously, the hope is to be to not to have to not have a relapse at any point after that bone marrow transplant. 5% of relapses happened 2 to 5 years um, after the bone marrow transplant, correct? But then
Correct.
the scarier numbers are within the first year of your bone marrow transplant. Most 80% of relapses happen within that first year.
Yeah.
So that must have been a hell of a year. And then the other one is, even once you're past the first year, you're still not out of the woods. 10% of relapses happen within the second year of having that
Yeah.
operation.
Yeah,
So,
it's not maybe exactly like that, but let's say like within the first 2 years, there are 90% of 80-90% of the relapses happened in within the first 2 years. I'm not, I mean, but by far in within the first year are the worst.
mm,
Yeah, are the worst incomes, like the worst numbers
right.
within the first.
Okay. And then so anywhere after 5 years, if you've managed to survive 5 years without having a relapse, then you basically have the same chances of getting leukemia again as any other healthy person who's never had leukemia before. So, even once you've gone through all that treatment, finding out the news changes your whole life. You go through treatment, which is harrowing. You may or may not have a bone marrow transplant. It changes your whole mindset. You go up and down in depressions. You're cut out from the world because you're protecting yourself from infections, and you can't do any of the stuff you used to do before. So you're stripped of your personality. You don't even recognize yourself in the mirror. So you go through all of that, do the transplant, and then you're still told that you have to stick around for 5 years and stay as healthy as you can. And only then, after 5 years, you may have your life back as it was before, which is, it's just unimaginable how much of a fight this is. And I'm so pleased that we're talking, because I think you're coming up to 2 years almost, right? You must be about 23 months
Yeah.
now.
Actually, yeah, maybe by the time this interview is gonna published, I'm gonna be already passing 2 years post bone marrow transplant.
Yeah, which is amazing. And
Yeah,
then obviously, like we just said, your chances of relapsing are even lower,
yeah,
all the
yeah,
way down to 5%,
yeah,
which which is almost zero. So that's something amazing and exciting for you. And
yeah, yeah.
um, you know, what I want to know is, though, uh, what was your mindset like right after you've done the bone marrow transplant, and you're told, all right, you've got to survive now, and it's going to be 5 years before we can give you a full on all clear. What was that first year like, and even that second year? 10% is still pretty high. How do you deal with that? You're trying to come back to yourself, you're putting weight back on, your hair's growing back, you're in remission, but you don't know what might happen. How do you go back to your normal life, or do you?
One of the things that we are not very well informed while having the treatment is actually, as you are saying, the post, like the post life, like the life after the bone marrow transplant. For me, to be honest, this this time after the transplant was very hard. Actually, it was like the time that I was that everything is actually finished, is everything is actually done, but you realize it's not. It's actually
Mm,
not. Like you are looking for, I mean, you during your whole treatment you are looking for the day of the transplant, because your new life starts there, and then you are supposed to be forgetting everything, but it's not.
no.
And actually, for the mindset was not good at that time. I think it's impossible to avoid being scared. Like, how come you cannot be scared? Maybe you are done with your treatment, but it doesn't mean you are fine.
Hmm.
Just instead of making very huge goals, just make or just make very tiny goals, like okay, maybe today I'm gonna walk 5 rounds in the house. Maybe tomorrow I will be able to walk 8 instead of 5.
Hmm.
That's actually a success.
Yeah.
We are talking about these tiny things, but it's very very important. Take it slow, make
Hmm.
tiny goals. uh Start, like once you are allowed to go out the street, just don't don't over push yourself. Just
Hmm.
little by little, your body will be reacting. You'll be feeling better, but avoid going on a rush because it's not gonna be good for yourself.
Yeah. So little by little, those small goals, eventually, like everything in life, they all add up, right? Like you said, one day you do 5 rounds around the house, then you maybe do 7 the week after, and it slowly goes up. But every little bit, every little goal that you achieve adds up, right, to the bigger picture. Um,
Absolutely.
and it applied to you in your recovery, and it applies to actually everything that we do in
Mhm.
life. It's important to remember that we have to that you maintain that mentality throughout. And I imagine that do you still have that mentality now?
Actually, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, for me, this is one of the things I already learned, and I'm already applying to myself every day. Like, don't go on a rush. There's no rush. Like,
Mm,
the rush is only on in our mind. I try to get back to my old self, not on purpose, and then I say, okay, no, 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 don't go there. Just
mhm.
come to the present. You are here. Remember what you got. Remember what you've been through. Remember what you learned. And it's like, okay, and then I start, and anxiety gets lower in that
Right.
in that in that way.
This this whole experience has been extremely difficult for you physically, of course, with everything you explained. But it sounds like mentally it was just as hard, if not harder. I'd imagine the mental fight was actually just as hard as the physical fight, if not harder.
Yeah, actually, while I was on treatment, it was very physical fight because the treatments are the worst ones, right? But
Mm,
once you finish and you start not, you are still not feeling well physically, it really affects your mind. And so, as you said, like the mental journey has been crazy, like very crazy. As I told earlier, like I started here, and then little by little, I went down, loud, down, like
yeah.
very progressive, down until I touched the end.
Hmm.
So but while having this, I'm experiencing some anxiety. So I try to work out to avoiding those kind of stuff. Workout is very important. Physical, like if you take care of your body, your mind will appreciate it.
Yes.
I try that will help also with insomnia because your body will feel tired then at night.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm still dealing with it, but little by little, since I'm more active during daytime, I sleep better at night.
Thank you for sharing that. And also that message on mental health is so important. How has this experience affected your perspective on life, right? And how has it affected your perspective of or your idea of a future? I mean, you said yourself a few minutes ago that there was a time where you were so low that you thought potentially it wasn't worth going through this and you just wanted to end. You know, that doesn't get much lower than that. You're, basically that's I can't imagine thinking that way without going through something like you've been through. It must be so hard to deal with. But now, after you've been through all this, how has it changed your perspective on life? What do you appreciate more, or what do you not pay attention to anymore, or what's it changed for you?
Mm, So, I've been always like a very ambitious person. I've been maybe putting too much pressure on myself. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it's been a way of education. Or maybe because of my environment. I don't know, but I've been very kind of person that it was very worried about the future.
Mm,
Very worried about not paying attention to the present for having a better future, right? This kind
mm,
of in your 30s, it's you're gonna have your good house, your wife, maybe one or two kids in your early 30s, and I was kind of having this kind of mental illusion,
mm,
let's say illusion, like because at the end it's an illusion, because having all what I said already, is if you're not happy, those things are not gonna make you happier. I
mm,
mean, it's not about getting goals. It's not about getting what you are supposed to get at this certain of time, at this certain age, because society is telling you to do
mm,
so.
mm,
So for me, what I've learned, and when I'm working, is like try to enjoy more the present. Like
mm,
I'm enjoying more the present. Like for example, let's say I go to a restaurant. Maybe before I wouldn't order for a more expensive dish because I'm in my mind I'm thinking the future. Maybe now I'm getting the most expensive dish on the menu because I'm just really enjoying the present. I'm enjoying the time with my family. I'm enjoying the time with my friends. For me, those things turned up to be the most valuable and the most happy things for the
Yeah.
happiest things for me. Uh, I am enjoying more the time with my sister. Uh, I don't know. I just adopted a few cats. They just have babies. I'm just
Amazing.
I'm mesmerized with the babies. Like it was like, how come I wouldn't imagine myself that happy with just those small things before, because
Mhm.
for me it was about working in the future, but not paying attention to the present. Now
Right.
I'm very excited with the present. I'm enjoying very much the present.
Hmm.
uh, this is, I think that's the like the most, like the change, the better change that I got, it's this one, like this kind of new mentality.
Hmm.
um Being more paying more attention to your partner, paying more attention to what your friend is saying, helping others, like
Yeah.
I will explain later what project I am having in mind, but helping others, it's not, maybe it's not, you don't get an economic purpose, but you it's like a mental, and it's a heart, like it's an emotive, like purpose, and it helps your soul. It helps it really helps your soul, helping people.
Yeah.
I never thought before, like helping people or doing things for free would have helped me so much, and these things now completely changed.
Yeah.
I Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so for me, those feelings of that I can get back a good feeling, and it doesn't have to be linked to money, let's say, because
Hmm.
yeah, because sometimes life it's very connected to money, like uh now it really changed. For me, money now it's not that important. I don't mind. Before I imagine myself living in a big house, like with a big car and an expensive car, and for me now it's I'm not gonna be more happier with a bigger house or with a more expensive car, with
Hmm.
having a place for living and having just a car, like, and enjoying the present. For me it's gonna be completely uh, profitable, like completely okay for me now.
Yeah.
I completely changed in that way. Like I for example, I cannot imagine myself going back to another country and being so far from my family again, for example. Like those kind of feelings are very different now.
That's interesting. It's a big, yeah, because what the life couch, at least what I believe is, success does not equal happiness. Success does not. It can sometimes, if
It
maybe
helps
it's,
maybe sometimes, but not it's
yeah.
not completely linked.
No, it's not happiness, and happiness comes from being fulfilled and from doing things that, like you said, feeds your soul and makes you feel complete. But I guess in the world that we live in, at least society teaches us to race against each other all the time, and to set the point that you want to get that big house, get that big car, make the big salary, get the big title on your desk, you know, um,
Absolutely.
and people fight so hard to get that. And most of them, at least a lot of them that I've met, most of those people are not happy. They go to bed stressed, anxious, sad.
Money is a thing. You're not gonna ever the amount of money you want. Happiness, it's not a limit. Don't think about happiness is the end of the journey. It's
Hmm.
not happening like that. Maybe finding stability, maybe finding stability, some kind of stability, emotional, economic stability, I don't know, family stability,
Yeah.
uh, job stability. Maybe that's the end of the journey.
Hmm.
Happiness are peaks. Happiness are uh, how can I explain this? Sorry.
Yeah, it peaks. It comes and goes. Yeah.
It comes and goes, and it's fine. If you think that happiness is the end of the journey, you're
Hmm.
not gonna be happy ever in your life.
Yeah.
You cannot be all in this level of happiness your whole life.
Right.
You cannot be thinking like that, because once you get here, you will think that happiness will be another peak, and you will try
Hmm.
to get the other, and you will try to get the other, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be always like that. So think as happiness as a stability with your partner, with money, with their job, but don't think as happiness as is the end of the road.
Hmm.
That's I would like to say.
I love that. If you had to describe yourself in one word, how would you describe yourself before all of this happened, and how would you describe yourself now today?
I think for me it would be very easy to reply to that, because for example, it's like a sum up of what I'm saying. My past life was ambition.
Okay.
Ambition. I would really say I was really ambitious of life, too much. Maybe as I'm saying, maybe sometimes a bit sick of ambition. I'm not gonna get. I'm not gonna arrive to what I'm looking for, because my timeline or my timing was really short. Like,
Mm.
Mm, so yeah, for by far, I would say like I was maybe too obsessed with the future, let's say.
Okay. Okay.
And for sure, if I would have to describe myself now, I would say grateful. I'm grateful. I cannot say another thing, because I'm grateful. I need to be grateful for what all happened and how I am now. I need to be completely grateful.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm grateful with life, with things. Uh, I know what can happen having this, and it didn't happen. It doesn't mind that I know I didn't get the house I was thinking, or maybe I didn't get married yet. It's fine, because I'm still grateful, because I still have time. Because I'm alive. I have time, so I'm grateful. I'm great. I'm very grateful for all that happened. Am I? Would you ask me? Would you go back to your life before cancer if you know that you're not gonna have cancer? Of course. I mean, yes.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not a good experience. Like, it's not a good experience, but there are things that you can learn from a bad experience, and I learned many things,
Yeah.
and as I told you, this was a big wall in my way that I
Mm.
already sorted out, and I'm having my new dreams, and I'm having my new goals, and I'm happy to. I'm happy to.
That's nice. So you've been able to find some positives out of a really negative situation, which
Absolutely,
which is
absolutely. I
really
mean,
really
it's
inspiring.
important. Yeah, it's important also to in our life we all have. It's never gonna be always positive things. There are negative things are part of our lives. The important thing about the negative things is learning from them. Okay,
Yeah.
it's fine. Oh, I mean, everyone is gonna have ever it's gonna have a negative thing. Maybe, I don't know, there are many things that you can lose a sibling, you can have an accident, I don't know, you can lose a lot of money because of a bad investment. There are many bad things in life, and
Mm.
they're all gonna happen. It's not about uh, avoiding them, because sometimes you cannot. It's about learning from them. It's
Mm.
about making new goals from them, making a new perspective. It's about that, because everyone is gonna have, of course, having cancer. It's one of the toughest, I guess, but I learned also many things from it, and this is the way. Even though it's a small problem, it's okay to have a small problems, and it's okay to be worried about small things sometimes, because you don't have a perspective.
Yeah,
of what can be very tough. It's fine, but don't get over it, and find a way to look for a solution, and learn from it.
love it. Do you think that having survived through this whole experience has made you less scared of taking risks in life, or less scared of well, just less scared of failing, or less?
I think so. I think so because for me, the worst. I mean, I don't have anything already now. I don't have anything to lose now. Like there are some things that I changed, and
Hmm.
because I have now a perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's very relative. Everything now is very relative for me because the worst has already passed.
understood. Yeah, and I totally get that. What would you tell anybody who's currently facing any problem in their lives at the moment, whether it's a small problem or a big problem, that's not necessarily health related, or even, yeah, any problem? What would you tell them?
First of all, I would say that it's fine and it's normal to have problems. Because sometimes, like, living, it's about avoiding problems, right? Like, we all live in this kind of life, like, avoiding problems is the way. Sometimes facing the issue or facing the problem, it's the way of getting out of it,
Yeah.
not running off, right? It's normal and it's fine. Just think it's fine and you are not alone.
Mm,
I felt very alone in my way fighting cancer. But I wasn't alone. There are many people suffering the same thing you are suffering. Find solutions. Talk to people who already passed through it. Mm, Make priorities. Think about what really is a problem and what's not really a problem. It's fine.
mm,
It's fine
mm.
to be worried. It's fine to be sad of small things. Sometimes it's fine because it's part of life, and as I'm saying, you will learn from it. So at the end, it's a good experience. But don't worry, it's fine. Just normalize it and get over it. Learn from it. Find partners. Get surrounded of the people you love and the people you can count on.
Hmm.
uh get through it, learn from it, avoid it next time if
If you can,
uh
right?
but it's fine and it's normal and it's part of life.
I mean, I really believe that every problem, um, in the end, like you said as well, every problem has a benefit. Whether
For
it's
sure.
learning from it, so that you don't have to do it again next time, or if it's changing your perspective on life, or whatever it is, no matter how big or small, every problem has some sort of benefit, or a positive to take out of it. No matter how sad or how difficult or how tough the problem is that you're going through, whether it's dealing with someone who's passed away, or dealing with a huge health issue like you had, or being broke and losing your house, it's hard to see it's hard to see past the problem to really find the benefit, but there always is a positive way to look at a problem.
100% agree.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share at all?
I would like to add, like, for those who are having now this kind of situation of battling cancer, or they are not, that they need inspirational stories, or they need help, they need to talk. I would like to say that a group of people who suffered cancer or blood cancer as me, like leukemia or lymphomas or any kind of cancer, but especially with leukemias, because I'm more used to, of course, with
Yeah.
that cancer. We created a platform on Instagram. We're working more on Instagram. It's called Proyecto Idun. They can find it. It's at Proyecto down dash Idun, and it's a way of looking. There are you people can find a lot of answers to their questions there. They can find people who already survived these strong and hard illnesses, and
Yeah.
they can find inspiration on those, because as I said before, it's very important to look for inspirational things, and people who already passed through it. I'm working on it now, and I'm very happy to be working, and we already got an award from this work.
Oh, wow.
uh
Well
yeah,
done.
yeah, yeah.
That's great.
and we are working good on it, and it's important to talk. If people wants to talk, just it's everything is in Spanish now, but if ever someone wants to talk to me, I don't have any trouble to do a Skype meeting or whatever, because I'm ready to help.
Amazing. That's really nice of you to share that. Thanks, Adrian.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, listen, man. You know what? It's been really inspiring to talk to you. Your story is one of the toughest stories I've heard. So I'm really glad that we had this discussion because it showed a very important insight into what the actual battle, mental and physical, of cancer really means, and how it still affects you after even you're in remission. You know,
Hmm.
most people imagine that, oh, he's in remission, great, all right, and then they turn the page and they never really ask you questions
Yeah,
again. Where really
exactly.
actually the battle continues for quite a few years
Yeah,
after
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Which is really important. So I'm really glad that we shared this and that you took the time to talk with me. I'm sure
Me
that
too.
you've inspired a lot of people. I really, I'm very glad for you that the 2 years are coming up. I'm sure you're going to
Yeah.
be great. Adrian, thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much. You
I
too.
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
It's been a good time with you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.